Breaking news! There is now a moderate risk for severe weather in parts of the Dakotas and Minnesota. Hello, I am Pat from Pat's Path Predictor, and we are going to be going over everything that is going to be going on today. Alright, so this is the situation we have right here. There is a moderate risk right here from Fargo, North Dakota to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, just outside of it. So this is where it is right here. The enhanced risk is continues from Kansas all the way to the Minneapolis area to parts of North Dakota and South Dakota. The slight risk, same thing, from central Kansas to the U.S.-Canadian border, including parts of Wisconsin and parts of northern Minnesota, parts of North Dakota. Marginal risk goes from the U.S.-Mexico border to the U.S.-Canadian border. So we have a broad area of severe weather that's going to be happening today. So let's go ahead and take a look at the risks for this. A tornado threat, we have it as it's still 10%, no change with that. There's still 10% risk in this area right here. The hail threat, although it has been cut back a bit actually, they now have a 30% risk in only this area instead of this massive area that it was yesterday. But the hatched area is still there. There's still that chance of 2-inch hail or more within 25 miles of a point in that 15 and 30% area respectively. So yeah, but the reason they issued this moderate risk was this. There is now a hatched area for the wind threat right here. There is now a 45% risk for winds within that hatched area, which means there is a 45% risk of 65 knot or 75 mile per hour winds happening within 25 miles of a point. Same thing with the 30% here. Same thing to an extent with the 15% as well. So let's go ahead and see what's going on with this. There is a moderate risk of severe storms over portions of eastern South Dakota, parts of western Minnesota, and southeastern North Dakota. Summary: severe thunderstorm gusts, some near 75 miles per hour, large hail, and a few tornadoes are expected today over parts of the eastern Dakotas, eastern Nebraska, western Iowa, and central and southern Minnesota. So yeah, we're going to see a severe weather outbreak today. That's a given. We're going to be seeing a severe weather outbreak today. So let's go ahead and read what's going on. The north central plains and the upper Midwest. Scattered to numerous thunderstorms are expected to develop in an area near the surface low and cold front by mid-afternoon from eastern South Dakota across central and eastern Nebraska and into the afternoon into at least northern Kansas. A brief interval early in the convective cycle may support discrete to semi-discrete supercells before the convection becomes quasi-linear and thus accounts for the potential of significant severe hail in parts of the western parts of the outlook area. However, the most common severe type should evolve quickly into thunderstorm gusts, some of which may be significant 65 plus knot strength, especially from parts of eastern South Dakota into the southeast North Dakota and western Minnesota. The addition of significant wind area technically triggers a moderate categorical risk, though the overall scenario hasn't changed in a major way from what is discussed from the previous outlook. A few tornadoes are possible, especially near the surface warm front, where large buoyancy backed by near-surface winds and in large hydrographs SRH will yield the most favorable parameter space. The main uncertainty regarding the density and intensity of the tornado threat involves convective mode, which may be entirely quasi-linear by the time the activity encounters the largest combination at the low-level buoyancy and shear with surface-based inflow parcels. The warm sector is forecast to destabilize through the day, with a combination of at least weak large-scale ascent increasing northward, diurnal heating and related lift from below, and ultimately frontal convergence, eliminating a basal EML, inversion and supporting convection initiation. All activities expected to intensify quickly as it impinges on a narrow but favorable prefrontal corridor where 60s to near 70 surface dew points contribute to the Cape of to the near 3,500 to 4,000 joules per kilogram range in near the moderate area, decreasing gradually with the southward extent as the low-level moisture is mixed out. 3,500 to 4,000 Cape is considered a more extreme environment. I want everyone to know that, and this is the Cape we have pulled up right here. This is for parts of South Dakota and Minnesota. The Cape according to the HRR is going to be even larger than that. We're seeing some areas that are cracking 6,000 joules per kilogram of Cape according to the HRR model. Let's go to the RAP model. The wrap model has the same situation right here. There are some areas that are cracking 6,000. We're cracking 6,600. We're reaching 6,600 in some of these areas right here as well. So yeah, this stuff is not kidding around. Let's take a look at the NAM to see what that is saying. The NAM is a bit more the NAM's a bit more moderate. I would say it's a bit less extreme, and there is still an area of about 5,000 joules per kilogram of CAPE, but it's not nearly as widespread, and the more widespread stuff is the 4,000 to 3,000, 3,500 CAPE right there. So, yeah, the herd and the rapids, what's going on? Let's look at the GFS. The GFS is telling a completely different story of CAPE, only cracking 3,000 in parts of Minnesota right here, so I'll be keeping an eye out, but 3 hours beforehand, this CAPE's going to be around 4,500 in some of these areas, so everyone needs to pay attention to this. So that's basically what we have right here. Let's go ahead and go back to the HER. Back to the HERs. Let's actually go to the dew point temperatures as well, just to understand what's going on. We're actually in the upper 70s in the dew points. That is a very moist environment right there. We're reaching upper 70s with this right here. And let's go ahead and go to the temperature right here. The temperature in some of these areas, it's going to be in the low 80s, but look at this. We're seeing 90s in parts of South Dakota and southern Minnesota right here. So you can tell this thing is not kidding around. The humidity with this, there's going to be plenty of humidity in the There's going to be plenty of humidity at noontime for this. We're looking at 90s humidities with this right here. Yeah, this is pretty interesting right here. And by 19Z, we're looking at a pretty good area of 93% humidity. This is where some of that cape is right here. So there is more than enough moisture for this thing to keep going. So that's basically what's going on. Let's actually look at the Supercell Composite. The Supercell Composite on this is pretty crazy. By 22Z, which is 5 p.m., we're looking at a Supercell Composite of 21, 23 in some areas. That is a very high amount of Supercell Composite. Significant Tornado Composite is also kind of decent. We're seeing an area of over 10 with the significant tornado composite. So, based on all of that, what I'm gonna say is that expect some tornadoes, one of which could potentially be strong. Expect severe wind gusts, potentially 75, maybe cracking 80 miles per hour. And hail greater than 2 inches in diameter, potentially potentially more than baseball size. That's what I'm saying with this right here. So that's basically what's going on with this stuff. Looking at this looks like a good setup for severe weather outlook in Minnesota right here. So that's basically what I'm taking a look at. But with that being said, that is going to wrap up this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. It helps me out and helps me make more videos like these. The goal on this channel is to get more people involved with weather. And that's what I'm doing here with this. But with that being said, guys, have a wonderful day. Stay safe.